fine. Cool. So this is our 13th town hall now. So like all town halls, we'll have an update and a plan. Updates are what happened the previous week, just a quick recap on what happened the previous week, and then plans are laying out what we're planning to do for this week. So last week's updates, we announced the winners for Algovera Freelance, which was Arshi and Servana. They have both started their project, I'm assuming. So Richard had met with both of them to sort of outline the process and so on. So they are up and running with the freelance project. That's great. The second item is, feel free to jump in here, Keaton, if you want to add in anything else. Second item is the Algovera Squads DAO for grant winners. So we started collecting the information for the squads from the grant winners, and we tested spinning up a DAO as well, but we ran into some issues, which was namely that it was difficult. The Aragon client wasn't showing the USDC assets on Polygon. Essentially, we chose Polygon because we thought it was easier for transaction fees, etc. So people can actually utilize the DAO's features. However, it seems that it's not showing up on the client, although it's meant to be technically there. Is that correct, Kim?
Yeah, exactly. So when you check on Polygon Scan, you can see that USDC is being held by the DAO itself on Polygon. However, like Hitesh said, it's just not showing up in the UI. I'm in touch with the folks at Aragon who also are pretty confident it's a UI bug, and we have a GitHub issue. So hopefully it can be resolved soon. And that is causing a bit of delay, though. We really just want to make sure we're dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's as we're making sure assets can actually be available and used. So hopefully we'll have a resolution on that soon. But in the meantime, we are also exploring other options just to make sure we can get squads funded and ensure they can use all the functionality of the tool set that we implement.
Exactly. Yeah. We really want to get the funds out to the grant recipients as soon as possible. We just want to make sure that everything is set up properly so that you don't have any issues when you get up and running. And it's also learning for us as well. So next time we come around, it's going to be much quicker. The other thing now is the Algovera Reputation Pod I suppose there wasn't much of an update in terms of Reputation Pod because we postponed it to this week, right? So I shouldn't have put that in there. But again, giving a quick overview of what we hope to do with the Reputation Pod is that we can capture objectively some of the value contributed by members of the community into some metrics so that it can be displayed, so that people in the community can realize whether a member is a highly reputable member in the community, or if a new person comes into the community, they can know who in the community has a high reputation of providing value, etc. So that should be really under plans, I guess, is that we'll be launched, sort of planning the initial phases of the Reputation Pod this week. The other thing is, fourth thing is the Tokenomics Pod. So the Tokenomics Pod met last week, and we decided that it would be good to have KPIs for whatever tokenomics system that we want to start simulating and testing. And so we created a doc. I believe it should be on the Tokenomics Pod channel. So it's pinned in the Tokenomics Pod channel. There's a Google Doc, which you can go in to see the various notes that the pod members have curated. It's a kind of a summary of what we've been discussing in the pod. And also, I believe it's in the bottom of the notebook that we're starting to put the KPIs that we think would be good for Algovera. Yep. Yes, so there are some KPIs there that we put. Again, we still have to do a bit of work on the Algovera tokenomics pod in terms of the KPIs. So keep an eye out for updates on that. Fifth thing is that ethDenver was on like the last couple of days. It began the last couple of days, I think. A real sort of FOMO of not being there, but we had a few friends from the Algovera community there. I think A.O.B was there, Timothy was there. Who else was there? Vintage was there. I think Will said he was also going to be there. So we have a good representation of the Algovera community in ethDenver. Hopefully in upcoming events, we can have a much bigger presence and even organize some events around some of these bigger events. That would be pretty cool, I think. Yeah, excited to see what the guys are up to, and looking forward to what they come back with, and yeah, be interesting to hear from them, I think. The last update that I have is the YouTube thumbnails have been updated. So if you went onto the Algovera YouTube channel, previously it would have been filled with Zoom screenshots of people, of recordings, I guess. But it's a much more nicer design now with a little bit more catered towards the aesthetic feel of Web3, I guess. So I don't think all the thumbnails have been uploaded, but we'll be uploading the other ones this week, I think. So that's all the updates. I don't know if you have anything else, Keaton.
Should be good from my end as well. Definitely, yeah, definitely recommend checking out the Algovera Python package, which is now downloadable. And pretty cool, as again, it allows you to connect to Ocean directly from Jupyterlab, which is a really awesome quality of life improvement for the data science workflows we're building out. So take a look at that. And also there are instructions for contributing to the library as well. So be in touch with me, A.O.B, anyone else on the core team if you want to contribute, or if you want to ask questions about using the extension itself.
Yeah, I have to give absolute kudos to both you and A.O.B for working and leading the project. I think it's a great first step for what we're planning to build out in the Algovera library. And so excited to see the progress there. So in terms of the plans for next week, again, one of the goals that we have for this week is to try and fund the squads. We were mentioning that we're running into some issues with spinning up the DAOs. Hopefully we can solve that this week, and end of this week we can fund all the teams. That's our goal. We'll definitely be in touch with all the grant winners to communicate and stay update the situation with you guys. Let me see, anything else you want to chat about on that one? No. Cool. The second thing is that one of the things that we wanted to do last week was have the documentations for the create, join, and earn track, the content ready. We have sort of the final version, and still need a bit of work in terms of the automation that Keaton will be working on, but majority of the content is done. So we'll be publishing that to the main doc website, which is doc.algovera.ai website, and set up any automations as well that runs in the background for it. Again, I think the docs are sort of self-explanatory in terms of how to navigate them. So do check them out if a particular track is of interest to you. Maybe on that note, maybe we can also do a quick video tutorial. Again, it could be one of the core team, it could be anyone, just walking through the different tracks on how one might navigate through the different tracks. So be it earn track or join track, just so that people have the video version of it as well handy. And again, now that we have like a YouTube channel that we can post things on, it would be good for people to sort of discover content there as well. So short form content might also be something that we can try and do. Explanation and walkthrough videos would definitely help people understand how to do things in Algovera, I think. Third thing is the development sprint, development sprint 2. Again, the core team is meeting to work on the smart contract aspects, and I don't have an update on the data science flow team, which is Jakub and Richard. Richard's in holidays, and Jakub's in ethDenver. So we'll have to keep in touch with them to see, get in touch with them to see what the update is with the developments there. But in terms of the smart contract team, which is myself and Keaton, we'll be meeting this week to have a bit more clarity in terms of the objectives and goals that we need to meet, and start diving into some hands-on technical work, which would be fun. The fourth thing is that Keaton and I was just chatting earlier about it would be really cool for the community to have a sort of a virtual space for meeting other people. And one of the options that I threw out was Gather.town, but Keaton made a really good point in that there might be other options for us that might be more Web3 native. And I think it's definitely worth exploring different options. And that's one of the goals that we have for this week, is that we can explore these different options and see the pros and cons of each, and start to get an idea of the landscape for this particular problem. So we'll be doing that this week. The fifth thing is that Keaton will be doing a short video tutorial on the Jupyterlab extension that he was mentioning earlier. So we'll hopefully have that done by this week as well, just sort of outlining and showing the main features of the extension. That'll be pretty cool to see as well. So looking forward to that. That's all the rundown of the plans. Anything else that you wanted to add? I think I covered everything there.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'll get on my end.
Yeah, so usually we would send out the newsletter after the town hall meetings, but I think the newsletter will probably only be out tomorrow, just because of bandwidth. I'd been traveling today, so pretty knackered. So hopefully a newsletter will be sent out tomorrow evening at the latest. But apart from that, I think that's everything in terms of the update. If anything else pops up, or if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Keaton in the meantime. Cool. That's a wrap on the 13th town hall.